Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for NFL picks once again. My name is Claude White. Last week I had a pretty good week. I was 3-1. The only one that I got wrong, unfortunately, was the New Orleans Saint game. And listen, you could make a case that it might be time to move on from Breeze. He can no longer throw an accurate deep ball, but I digress. I'll take 3-1. That's a lot better than some of the other NFL coaches who got fired. So there you go. But I will hope and strive for perfection yet again this week, and hopefully this time we'll do it. Let's start with the Saturday afternoon game where the Minnesota Vikings, who upset the Saints last week, go into San Francisco, well, really Santa Clara, Levi's Stadium, to take on the San Francisco 49ers, who are well rested and ready to go. As you already know, I have issues with both quarterbacks. Obviously, you've heard me rant against Kirk Cousins, him being a C-plus quarterback and all, and he did do a lot better last week as far as quieting his many critics. But I have almost as many, if not more, question marks about Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm not a fan of his, period, point blank. If you want to say it's because he was with the New England Tom Brady, Bill Belichick regime, you want to say that's part of it, you could say that. If you want to say that he is a straight systems quarterback, and he definitely is, listen, the man has benefited by having the best running game in all of pro football, that offensive line. His receiving core is so-so, but I'm just not a fan of his, and I don't think that you can rely on him to win your championship. Now, to be fair, they are the most well-rounded team, in my opinion, that's left in the playoffs. I thought it was the Saints, but and the Saints, for the most part, actually did pretty well, but I was disappointed. I'm going to be honest, I was disappointed in Drew Brees. Now, Minnesota could pull off the upset. I mean, they have Dalvin Cook, they have their whole arsenal of receivers, plus their tight end Kyle Rudolph, who caught the game winner. Now, you could say that the Saints coaches should have challenged for offensive pass interference, and he definitely pushed off with that right arm. No question about it, but obviously that's water under the bridge now. The Vikings defense has been very stout. Their pass rush did a number to the Saints offensive line. Now, that 49er offensive line is a whole different animal. And as you know, they are a massive run-blocking offensive line. They will maul you, no question about it. And maybe, you know what, I won't even use the term massive. But they are flexible, no question about it. They have very good athletes on that offensive line. They're able to pull and trap. They are a very good offensive line. The key here will be third down, obviously. And I do like Jimmy Garoppolo on third down. I like him a lot better than Kirk Cousins. And that's mainly due to that offensive line and due to that defense. I think the 49er defense at this stage is still better than the Minnesota Viking defense. And add that with the fact that they'll be at home, I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers to win this game 27-20 over the Vikings. Next up, later on today, the Baltimore Ravens are at home hosting the Tennessee Titans. I told you that the Titans would upset the New England Patriots, and it's just wonderful to have Tom Brady at home for the playoffs. I'm beaming. As far as I'm concerned, that's almost as good as the Steelers winning the Super Bowl, having Tom Brady home and the Cowboys are home. That means all of the fans win, as far as I'm concerned, outside of the fans of those teams. Ryan Tannehill did next to nothing last week, and it was good enough. I don't believe it's going to be good enough against this Baltimore team. They're well-rested, ready to go. I'm not sure if it's going to rain. I do believe that there is rain in the forecast, and there's supposed to be heavy rains in the Baltimore area, and that definitely tilts it more towards the Ravens. I mean, now both teams are running teams, but the Ravens, I understand that Derrick Henry was the NFL's leading rusher. I get it. But Baltimore is more equipped for this type of game than the Tennessee Titans, especially on defense, especially with that quarterback. Listen, he can throw it and run it. We know that. I mean, I want to say we've seen it with Vic, but Vic was not as good a quarterback as Lamar Jackson was, especially at this stage of their career. Lamar is light years ahead of Michael Vick as far as reading defenses, as far as even tucking and running. He was smarter with it. He's just a much better quarterback all the way around. In fact, I do believe that he will be the NFL MVP this season. I'm going with the Ravens. I like them double digits, 23-13 over the Tennessee Titans. Now, the next game on the docket will be the Houston Texans traveling to Kansas City to go up against the Chiefs. The Chiefs should be poised and ready to go. The Chiefs' defense has actually played a lot better, and a lot of that is due to Tyrann Mathieu. The Honey Badger is in full swing right now. He's been one of the top 5 safeties in the league over the last month or so. The pass rush is getting to the quarterback. Now, I'm not saying the Chiefs' defense is great. They're not. Houston, listen, J.J. Watt and those guys can wreck the game, no question about it. Watt had a very good game last week. But Deshaun Watson is outstanding. I tell you what, it seemed like he was having all sorts of trouble in the first half, and he was. He redeemed himself in that second half. Unfortunately, I don't think he will be allowed to do that this week. He can't afford to do that. It's going to be a shootout. I have to go with Kansas City at home. I believe I would take Mahomes in a shootout over Deshaun Watson in a shootout. And that's not a knock on Deshaun Watson. It's partly due to the lack of weapons that he has compared to the Chiefs' weapons. And keep in mind, I don't know if Will Fuller's going to play this week or not. I have no idea. He did not play last week, and the hamstrings are very tricky. We know that. I'm going Kansas City at home, 34-31 over the Texans. Next up, the Seattle Seahawks go up against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. It should be somewhat balmy there. I don't think it would matter either way because Seattle is built for all types of weather. I mean, they are that type of team, especially when you bring back Beast Mode himself, Marshawn Lynch. I mean, I understand that they do not have the same running game, but when you have a healthy Marshawn Lynch, listen, and also, of course, Russell Wilson, who will probably finish second in the MVP balloting. Their receivers are actually underrated as well. I like DJ Metcalf. I like Lockett. Listen, I like the Seattle team. Their defense is decent. I understand about Clowney, of course. You could have made a case he could have been suspended for that, but you can't do that at this time of the year. There will be all types of uproar. The Packers, you know what? They've had a good season. They've had a wonderful record. I don't think we've seen the best of Aaron Rodgers as of yet. Their running game has vastly improved. Aaron Jones has been a stud. Their defense, I thought that they would be a lot better than they have been. I mean, they've been more than good enough, don't get me wrong, but I expected them to be at this stage a borderline dominant defense, and they're not. You know what? I know it's not the in thing to go against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau. I am going against them. This is the upset special of the week. I'm going Seattle 27, Green Bay 24. And those are my picks for the NFL Divisional Round of 2020. Please like, share, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Claude White. Take care, and God bless.